Hey, welcome to Greatest Golfer. I'm Todd Franco, Greatest Guru. We're talking to you on a rainy May Sunday afternoon. Not the best day to get out on the golf course, but still a damn friggin' cool day to talk golf. And thrilled
Sure.
to be talking with a Valley golf legend in the Mr. Andy Santor. Andy, how are you doing, pal?
I'm doing great, Todd. Thanks for the props.
So congrats for landing out at Salem. Tell me about the decision to go out to Salem Golf Course. The Salem
Well,
Golf Club.
they made some changes in the ownership, like many places have done in the last private clubs in the last several years. And John Buda bought it a couple of years ago. But wants to keep it a private club as it's been for 103 years, or but yeah,
Yeah,
1921 it started.
yeah.
So it's a great place. It's a big part of the community. It's a great golf course, really good golf course. And I communicate to the people that my short time here, what a great thing that they have here. It really is. It's a great place.
Yeah. When did you start?
I started. Well, really, I started. I got hired. They brought me on board in late January. I was still in my winter spot down in Florida, but I started literally the next day doing stuff. I mean, I started
Yeah.
working a little bit,
Yeah.
but I got back into town March 14th and started the next day. So
Well, well, Salem Golf Club is one of my favorite spots to go. Hey, I love the track. It's different, it's unique.
it
My
sure is.
that par five, on the backside is it going down the hill and then crossing
Hmm.
the creek. That's when was it 11, maybe 10,
13.
13. Yeah, that's just one of my favorite par fives. Just the slope and the undulation and such. But
Hmm.
so the course itself, cool, but really love the facility. I've always been
Right.
been fond of heading out there. It's such a throwback kind of
Yeah, it's
place.
a neat place. It really is a neat place. So, like I said before, I think sometimes I'm going to do my due diligence and reminding the membership what a great place this is, and what they have. They have quite a bit. So, hopefully, we've got some great members, really good members.
I just think that Salem's just kind of a cool town. Love, and it's probably not a better drive through a neighborhood to a golf course than coming into the Salem Golf Club, passing those homes. So John's been involved in the course for decades as a member,
He's been a long time member, late 50s, early 60s, I believe,
and then stepped up.
and
So the ownership transfer. He's sole owner of the facility now.
he's a sole owner of the facility. Like I said, he's a longtime member. The club was going through some challenges, like many places in
Right.
this part of the country,
Yep.
and he wanted to save it. He wanted to keep it what it was. That was one big thing. Before I came on board, in our discussions and coming on board, and I've told him several times, it's great that you did this. I think keeping it what it was is a great thing going forward for it.
One thing I know from being at a few events out there is that obviously it's a private club, great track, great
Sure.
facility, but so many community functions circulate through the facilities, and
They
it's
really do.
a heart of Salem's operations.
They do. There's been a couple christenings out here since I've been here. A couple graduation parties, a couple of weddings, and they're all really well attended. And some of the member functions that they have in the clubhouse have been really well attended. We're off to a kind of not a great start weather-wise in the golf season, but it's starting to pick up a little bit.
Now I saw a couple posts on social. Some changes are being made, some additions. Talk about the
They're putting an addition onto the clubhouse. They're putting in a sports bar and just dressing up the clubhouse. It's really a nice clubhouse as it stands right now. But I think, like many places, getting a sports bar type of situation and a little bit more inviting place will really help the place and attracting people. So
I gotta admit, I was there for an event a couple years ago for a greatest event, which we'll talk about greatest events there, hopefully in a couple seconds here. But when I was there a couple years ago for a greatest, I might have violated a couple rules of the club, but I just had to go wander the place. It's such a cool. So I found myself in rooms that just were throwback
it's
to
a neat
us.
place. Yeah, it's a neat place.
Yeah, they didn't call the cops on me, so I
Yeah.
feel fortunate there. So we've talked a lot about some things going on there. What are some of the big events and also the chance to maybe even get a greatest event out there this summer still?
Todd, I'd love to do something. We've talked briefly about it. I'd love to do something like that, and anything we can do to to get just get some people to see the place. Whether they're prospective members or not. I think it's like I said, it's a great golf course, and I think it's an easy place to showcase.
I checked your LinkedIn profile, and this is your 490th year working in Valley Golf. So congratulations for that
Yeah, it's been
sustainability. What do you like about being in golf, and what are you excited for being at Salem?
well. Todd, golf. It's what I am. It's in my DNA. It's my grandfather was a accomplished player, really good player. My father was an accomplished player. I had two uncles that were accomplished players, and whatever they had in their systems, I inherited. It's part of my DNA since as long as I can remember. So
Do you still follow Kent State golf a ton now?
I sure do.
You guys have
Yeah,
put a few guys. There's a few of your Canadian guys who've made the tour, right?
well, there's three right now. Corey Connors, Mackenzie Hughes, and Taylor Penderith. All three are on the tour. They all played on the same team. They almost won the national. He had a couple teams, that 4 or 5 teams that almost won the national championship. I played for an iconic golf coach. He became an iconic figure in the collegiate golf world, and Herb Page, and he that was just special fraternity to be a part of, being from the Kent State golf program.
So being speaking of fraternities, your family obviously huge legacy at the Muni. No one calls it standby, right? All the old
Right,
timers,
right.
it was the Muni,
That's where I grew up, obviously.
and then you became, legend over at Mill Creek. And
It's been a while.
tell me about your love of being around golfers and that life at the Muni course and the essence of being around just a course where everyone can congregate. No offense to the private clubs,
No, no, you're
it's
right.
Lake or Tippy or Salem. There's a place for those, but there's still everyone says life at the Muni and the Santor family.
Sure. When growing up at the Muni, that was obviously, I grew up in the 70s there. There were, God, hard to believe how many players came out of there, how many people came out of there, how many people used to play there, just a 9-hole facility. We used to get 40, 50 people and playing in our group on the weekends. And that was my dad's group. And I was fortunate to jump into that when I was playing good enough at about the age of 15 to jump into that, and got that playing, when I was 15, was playing with people, God, that many of them are not around anymore. But now I'm on the other side of that, and most of the majority of the people are younger than me, and it's amazing how much the game has changed and evolved over the years. And heck, I grew up with 43-inch driver and persimmon heads and balata balls. And
All right, a couple random questions I just want to test you with and see where we go. Amateur golfers like me, two things they should do to fix their game immediately.
work on your short game.
When you say short, you mean short as in 100 yards, or you mean short
100,
as in 50,
120
40,
yards and in.
120 and in?
Yeah, and it's anybody.
All right, so short.
Anybody can, if for 120 yards and in.
All right, work on your short
Obviously,
game. What's the second amateur tip? Just guys, stop being stupid. Do this to improve your game. What's the second one?
get a driver that you're comfortable with, and a driver that you can get in get in the fairway.
What do you want to see happen with the two golf tours that we have?
They got to get together at some point. It's kind of crazy what's going on today. What's going to make it happen? I'm guessing money. It's
Sure.
dollars and cents that I can't relate to, but
Is Tiger Woods ever going to win again on the PGA Tour?
it's amazing to me how well his body still works, all that he's been through. I don't know that he'll ever win on the regular tour, but it just amazes me how well his body still works.
What do you like about junior golf these days?
It's funny. So I played junior golf, I played high school golf, I played collegiate golf at Kent State. In the first round of golf, my mother, who was extremely involved in every sporting event, I played basketball through high school. The first round of golf she ever saw me play was in 1987 when we played in the NCAA's. We qualified as a team to play in the NCAA's in '87. That was the first time my mother ever saw me play a round of golf.
No kidding.
So it's different. Parents are more involved, which is great. They come to high school matches. There's 30, 40 parents at some of them anymore.
How about the juniors as players these days? How they play the game, how they're taught. What do you like? What do you
Well, the really good ones, the scores they're shooting today, there's some of they're obviously getting some help with equipment, but it amazes me how good they've gotten so young.
If you were the commissioner of amateur golf worldwide, what would you want to do to amateur golf just to tweak play to make more players happen? Or do you see where we're at is fine?
I think where we're at is pretty good. More events, like things that you're doing. I mean, the greatest golfer. That's a great thing to have, and ways to kind of gauge yourself, measure yourself. That really went away. And I'm going to give you some props here because that went away from this area for a long time. I remember. I don't know that. Did you know my father?
No, just knew the name and knew the legacy.
Great storyteller. I remember him saying at one point, geez, he said, he goes, you know, talking about amateur golf in the area, he said, it's really, we knew who the best players were back in his day. 20 years, he goes, we don't even know who the best players are because there's no events, there's nowhere to gauge yourself.
Yeah.
So you came along with the greatest golfer. And I think if you started that, Brandon Pluchinski, Joey Salone, Jonah Karsmer, Josh Erlinga. I apologize if I'm missing people. I'm just throwing names off the top of my head. But you know who the good players are. The Porters. You know who they are. You didn't know who they were there for a long time in this area, and that's great to see. And I think the more of that you can do, the better.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate your help in getting Greatest started. It was a weird collision of ideas that came together in 2009, and I was glad that you were part of those first conversations.
Right. It was great, and I know how, like I said, how much you've grown, and it's great to be able to sit back and look. Now, it was funny. I played golf with Jonah not too long ago, Jonah Kurzmer. And we were talking. I said, Brandon Pluchinski. He said, yeah, don't even mention his name. So
Well, hey, thank you for the time today. Thanks
appreciate you having me on.
for being who you are in the golf industry. I'm optimistic for what happens out at Salem, and
Me
eager to get a
too.
Greatest event out there as well.
And once again, thanks to Mr. Buda and Shannon Kleiman. They, doing a great job promoting the place and making it a better place to be. So,
All right. Well, good luck out there, pal.
all right. Thanks, Todd.